My name is Sophia, and I am 24 years old. For a long time, I didn't feel good about myself. I finished school, but I didn't go to college. I tried looking for a job, but most places told me no. I stayed at home for what felt like forever. Some people called me lazy, but I wasn't. The truth was, I didn't know where to begin. Most mornings, I woke up with no reason to get dressed. I would scroll on my phone, stare at the ceiling, or help my mother around the house. When I saw my friends posting about their new jobs, their classes, or even their travels, I felt small. My life seemed stuck, like a door that wouldn't open. One afternoon, my older brother came home with news. He told me his friend's company was looking for an assistant. "You should try," he said. I laughed nervously. "I don't know anything about offices." "Doesn't matter," he replied. "They just need someone who's willing to learn. Go for the interview. Just do your best." At first, I didn't want to. My stomach twisted at the thought of walking into an office where everyone knew what they were doing, except me. But something in my brother's eyes made me pause. He believed I could do it, even when I didn't believe in myself. So, I went. The office was quiet and clean, with the soft hum of computers and phones ringing in the distance. People walked quickly down the hall, carrying papers, talking in low voices. My heart pounded. I sat in a chair outside a door, waiting for my name to be called. My palms were sweaty, and I rubbed them against my skirt. After a few minutes, a man came out. He was tall, with kind eyes behind a pair of glasses. He smiled gently. "Hello," he said. "I'm David. Please, come in." I followed him into a small room with a desk, 2 chairs, and a computer. He looked at the paper I had brought, my so-called resume. It was short. Too short. I had only worked once before, at a food shop. I left after 2 months. I thought he would shake his head, say thank you, and show me the door. Instead, he looked up and asked, "Are you ready to learn?" I froze, then whispered, "Yes." My hands were cold, and I was shaking, but I said it. "Good," he said simply. "You can start next Monday." I blinked. "Really?" He laughed. "Yes. We all start somewhere." My first day at the job was anything but easy. I didn't know how to use half of the computer programs. I forgot names the moment people told me. My fingers moved too slowly on the keyboard. I didn't want to ask too many questions, afraid people would think I was annoying. At lunch, I sat alone at my desk, poking at the sandwich I had packed. That evening, I told my mother, "I don't think I can do this." "You've only just begun," she said softly. "Give yourself time." The next day, Mr. David passed by my desk. I was struggling to sort some files when he stopped and said, "You're doing fine. It takes time." I looked up at him, stunned. No one had ever said those words to me before. Not at school, not at home. For a moment, something warm flickered in my chest. 2 weeks later, he gave me a task. I had to check a list on the computer. It looked simple, but I made a mistake and changed the wrong line. When I saw what I'd done, my stomach dropped. My eyes stung. I wanted to cry. Mr. David called me into his office. I braced myself, waiting for the scolding. Instead, he pointed at the screen and said, "It's okay. Let's fix it together." He showed me what to do, step by step. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't look disappointed. He just guided me patiently until the file was corrected. For the first time, I didn't feel stupid. I started to come in earlier. I stayed later. I asked more questions. Each time I finished a task, Mr. David said, "Thank you." 2 simple words, but they made me feel strong. Slowly, I began to want to do better. Not for him, but for myself. After 3 months, I felt different. I smiled more. I lifted my head when I walked down the hall. I could finish my work on time. I even helped new workers find things around the office. One day, Mr. David asked me to make a report. My stomach flipped. I had never done one before. He saw the worry on my face and said, "I believe you can." That night, I stayed late. I searched, typed, and checked everything twice. When I handed him the report the next morning, my hands were shaking. He scanned it, then looked up and said, "Good work." I carried those 2 words with me all day like they were gold. Little by little, I grew. I learned to fix my own mistakes. I learned to ask questions without feeling ashamed. I learned that being slow at first didn't mean being weak forever. At home, my parents noticed the change. "You look happy," my mother said one evening. "I feel different," I told her. "The office, Mr. David, it's helping me." She nodded knowingly. "You needed someone to believe in you." 6 months later, Mr. David invited me to join a new project. "I want you to help," he said. "Why me?" I asked, confused. "I don't have a degree. I'm not like the others." He studied me quietly, then said, "Because you care." That's rare. That night, I lay awake, thinking about his words. Could caring really be enough? I had never thought of it as a strength. But now, I wanted to find out what I could really do. Time passed. I gained more confidence. I trained new workers. I helped shy girls like Anna and Lucy find their voice, just as Mr. David had helped me. I stayed late, sometimes too late, because I cared about doing things right. One evening, as I was finishing a report, Mr. David stopped by. "You should go home," he said. "Almost done," I replied with a smile. He glanced at the paper and said softly, "You've come far, Sophia. I'm proud of you." No one had ever said that to me before. Not in a real way. Then came the day Mr. David had to leave. A new role, in another city. We had a small lunch, cake, and goodbyes. When it was my turn to speak, I stood with my hands trembling. "You helped me grow," I said. "You believed in me when no one else did. I'll never forget that." His eyes looked warm. "That means more than you know," he said. When he finally walked out of the office for the last time, my heart ached. But I wasn't afraid. I knew I could keep going. I had grown strong enough to believe in myself. The months that followed were full. I led small projects, then bigger ones. I gave talks during meetings, trained new people, and built my own team. At home, my parents told me I laughed more. At work, people began to look to me for guidance. One rainy morning, a young woman named Grace joined the office. She sat at her desk quietly, eyes wide, shoulders tight. I recognized the look. It was me, years ago. I walked over and smiled. "Hi, I'm Sophia. Let me know if you need help." She looked up, surprised, then gave a tired but grateful smile. "Thanks." That moment mattered. I had been that girl once, lost, small, unsure. Now, I was the one offering a hand. I understood something then. Life doesn't change all at once. It changes when someone gives you trust, and you choose to take it. Mr. David gave me that chance. I grew because of it. And now, it was my turn to pass it on. Because believing in others can be the beginning of everything. Thank you for watching and come back for more real moments.